Hey, have you heard of Viera, Florida? Have you thought about living in Viera, Florida? Are you moving to Florida and you're not sure if Viera could be right for you? Then stay tuned, because in this video, I go in depth on the pros and the cons of living in this unique part of Melbourne, and it starts right now. Hey there, welcome to my channel if this is your first time, and if you've been here before, welcome back. We're so excited to see you. I'm Dana Weis, a realtor with Real Broker LLC here in gorgeous sunny Melbourne, Florida. Okay, so Viera. Viera is at the northernmost part of Melbourne. And one of the biggest things to know about Viera is that it's a CDD, or a planned community. I actually did a whole video on what that is and what that entails for its residents if you'd like to check it out. Now this video, it's all about the pros and cons of actually living in Viera. However, I want to just start out by saying I'm not going to linger on the cons of living in all of Florida that practically every city in Florida shares, such as bugs, heat, humidity, hurricanes, right? Everybody should know about those. And if you don't, I have another video for that one you can go check out. It's actually the very first video I ever recorded goes into depth on those topics. So if you'd like to get a good chuckle from someone's attempt at making a video when they had no idea what she was doing, go check that one out. But if you'd like the ins and outs of Viera living itself, this one's for you. I'm gonna go over what I consider the top 9 things anyone thinking of living in Viera should know. And if you haven't left yet to go watch one of my other videos, then be sure to stick around until the end, because number 9 will probably help you decide yes or no to living here, because it's the most controversial. So number 1 is the fact that Viera is one of the newest areas developed here in Brevard County. The concept actually started in the 80s, but most of the homes on the east side were built starting in the 90s and then into the early 2000s. That was actually the first area developed. Then on the west side of Viera, they started building in the very late 90s to today. They're still building, still doing new construction today. They just keep on adding new sections as the previous one gets completely built out. But what does all this mean? Well, what it means is that there really aren't any old homes in Viera. And this leads us to fact number 2. Since the majority of the homes were built after 2002, you have better hurricane construction. And why is this important? Well, not only is the home safer, obviously, but your insurance rates are lower. And in the state of Florida, that's a big deal. In addition to that, since they're all newer construction, you don't have to worry about the normal things that you might have to worry about in an older home, such as cast iron pipes, aluminum wiring, or those Federal Pacific electric panels that don't meet safety standards and need to be replaced. However, with that being said, there have actually been some homes that were built in the 90s on the east side of Viera that upon inspection have been found to have polybutylene piping in them. Yikes. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically because of the low cost and the ease of installation, plumbing professionals love to use the polybutylene piping. However, they've since been found to have a serious design flaw. Basically that over time, chlorine, when it gets in the pipes, it can cause it to crack, swell, even burst, and you can flood a home completely with water, and you have to completely replace the pipes. So once it's known that a house has these types of pipes, the homeowner's insurance generally won't cover the home until you replace the pipes. But the good news is that they are replaceable, so it's a fixable issue. It's just a big fixable issue. I have to ask, raise your hand. Who has had to deal with a septic tank or a leach field failing? I am right there with you. When we still lived in Virginia, my husband and I had to completely replace our leach field because it just completely collapsed. It failed. What a pain, and not a cheap process to fix. So if you've dealt with this too, then you'll really love fact number 3. All the homes in Viera are on city water and sewer. No well water or septic tanks in this part of Melbourne. Fact number 4, Viera's a general great central location here in Brevard County. There are 4 entry and access points on I-95 on the west side of Viera to get to the different parts of Viera or other parts of the county, as well as easy access on US 1 on the east side of Viera, taking you up and down the coast. Do you know someone who loves to golf? Then this fact, number 5, alone means that Viera was made for you or your loved one. I do mention this in my other video as well, so I'm not gonna go too much into depth, but there are 17 golf courses, 3 right in Viera and 14 within 20 minutes of Viera. The Duran Golf Club, which is the longest course of the 17 is rated the best course near Viera, according to golflink.com, and many of the residents too. Besides the golf courses, there are lots of outdoor activities that busy outdoor types would love to enjoy. And if you drive through Viera, you're gonna see lots of people out and about, walking, biking, jogging, driving their golf carts. I don't know, it's the thing in Viera. And of course, the beach is only 20 minutes away, although for some people, they would actually consider this a con, right? You are definitely not close enough to walk or even ride your bike to the beach. But if you're like most of us who live on the mainland, you aren't always at the beach anyway. Fact number 6, since the Viera area is so new, there aren't any old shops, restaurants, attractions in this area, which actually some people might consider a con as well. But the really cool thing is that everything's newer. So the hospitals are newer, the schools are newer, and they're top rated. The VA clinic is located in Viera. But again, since it's newer, it has a nice fresh look to it. Essentially, the look and feel of Viera, it's old style Florida charm without the rundown areas that you have in practically every other county in the state. Fact number 7, since Viera is west of US 1 and on the mainland, residents there don't have to worry about mandatory evacuations during storms. However, it does also mean that if you're looking for water access to the intercoastal or canal homes, for instance, Viera is not going to have that. Fact number 8, traffic is just a fact of life for Viera, especially during rush hours and especially around the Wickham Road parts of Viera. If you're anywhere near the baseball facilities, you're going to experience traffic. If there's an event going on there, traffic obviously gets more dense than normal, as well as, of course, one of my favorite places to go in Viera called the Avenues, and of course many other people love it too. It has cool one-of-a-kind stores, it has chain stores and restaurants. This area can get pretty backed up as well, since so many people like to go there and just hang out. Another thing you should know about Viera is that it has a roundabout area that was meant to help with traffic flowing, but it really can be nerve-wracking. I don't care how many times you've driven it. I try to avoid it like the plague, but there's just sometimes, depending on where you're going to Viera, you cannot. But something really cool about the city of Viera is that they are really good on acting on things that are gonna make Viera even better. One of the newer things they built is the Diamond Interchange on Viera Boulevard, east and westbound. Really helps with traffic flow in that area. They also just recently opened up on the southern part of Viera the connection to the 404 extension, which takes you across the Pineda Causeway over to the beach. And there were lots of excited Viera residents when that one opened. Okay, fact number 9 may surprise you. With all this newness, would you expect taxes to be really high? Probably, right? Well, the actual taxes are some of the lowest in the county. You're either in the Rockledge unincorporated area up further north or the Melbourne unincorporated area further south. And those have some of the lowest millage rates for Brevard. But however, with that being said, I have to warn you, right? You should realize that along with the lower property taxes, residents of Viera all belong to homeowners associations because it's a master planned community and it has its own fees. The HOA fees here in Viera are some of the highest on the mainland, and they can actually come close to some of the high condo association dues that beach residing residents pay. And that can be a definite con for some people. But in addition to this is that much of Viera is that CDD I mentioned earlier, the Community Development District, which means that the developers took out a long-term bond to pay for the infrastructure to create this unique area to live in. But that bond has to be paid back. And so it's going to show up as a separate charge on your tax bill as a non-ad valorem assessment that residents are required to pay. And this assessment will probably be here for, I don't know, like 50 years. It's a really long time, maybe even longer than that. It just depends on when they renew it. So this is something else to keep in mind. And I can't skip over the HOA here. Yes, I do have 2 previous videos that I've done on HOAs. Are they evil? That kind of thing, right? If you've never lived in one, you should definitely go watch these videos. You have to be okay with the HOA's rules and regulations on what you can and can't do while living in Viera. Although I will say the rules are there to ensure that Viera keeps its lovely charm, clean appearance, all that really good stuff, right? But really, this benefits everyone who lives there. In addition, some of the HOAs have some fantastic amenities such as the community pools, tennis courts, the walking paths. But, you know, if the idea of living under rules is just something that you can't live with, then I'm going to tell you right now, Viera is not the right place for you. So remember, make the wise choice when it comes to all things Viera, Florida. We'll see you next video.